Today I want to help you understand how you can keep from becoming brainwashed. Now, before I start, I want to share something simple with you because I'm going to take you places that you've probably never been, and a lot of what I share with you, you're going to say, that can't be true. So I'm going to start with something really simple. Since 1910, the North Pole has shifted over 400 miles. Now, I used to look out my kitchen window and I look at the sun coming up from the east, and there was a little V in the trees where the sun would come over. But over the last few years, I've noticed that the sun came up further and further to the north. Well, I thought at first I was seeing things, but then I realized that the sun had moved. Well, how can the sun move? Well, the fact is the sun doesn't move. The axis of the earth moves. So what's happened is since 2010, now you realize that the North Pole has always moved a few inches or a few feet every year. But in 2010, it moved 40 feet. In 2013, it had moved 405 feet. Now, I don't know how many feet it's moved today because that's the latest actual statistic that I have. But I want you to do something. I want you to see that what I'm telling you is straight up. I want you to go outside in the morning when the sun comes up, and I want you to see where the sun used to come up and where it comes up today. Now, if you don't know where it used to come up, ask some old timers, ask some neighbors, ask some friends. Have you noticed that the sun has not coming up in the same place? Just ask them. Because what I found out today was it's actually moved 26 degrees. Well, 90 degrees is a right angle. Well, 26 degrees is almost a third of that. So the earth is rotating. Well, what's that doing? That's changing everything that happens on the planet. The equator is moving, everything's moving. Well, I'm sharing that with you because I want you to first get this, because the stuff I share with you today is going to take you probably past your ability to comprehend. But nonetheless, we're in the last days. And if you don't protect yourself and your family, I'm afraid that the chance of us being deceived is pretty high. I mean, if it weren't for him, even the elect would be deceived. So how do you get past that place? Well, I want to talk to you about a whole lot of things. First of all, I want to talk to you about how we're programmed and what this programming is. Well, we have a belief system. You have one, I have one, Patricia has one, we all have one. And none of them are the same because they're determined by everything in our life up till right now. So we have a belief system. But what does the word believe mean? Well, to believe means to rely upon, or actually it means to totally rely upon, and to rely upon with your life. That's what believe means. Now, over the years, of course, words change meanings. But I want to present this to you as the word believe means to depend upon with your life. So, do you ever watch TV? Well, sure you do. Well, there's a lot of things that are happening. Now, you've probably been to a movie or you've seen a movie, and the things in the movie look like they're real, but they're not. Well, do you know that the holographic video or the holographic system was developed in 1947? Well, I was at a meeting, and a man walked up on the stage, the speaker, and he got behind the podium and he shared for a little while. And then he walked down off the stage and walked up the aisle. Now, there were dozens of people on either side of the aisle. The aisle was probably 5 feet wide. He walked up the middle of the aisle, still speaking. He turned around, walked back up on the stage, got behind the podium, and poof, he disappeared. And within a few seconds, the speaker walked up from behind the curtains because he was teaching at that time. He was explaining the principles of holographic projection. That's the word I was looking for, holographic projection. Well, that was in 1947. That was how many years ago? 70 years ago? That was a long time ago. You think it's gotten better? It has. It's gotten a lot better. Do you know that you could actually shoot a missile and have that missile look like an airplane? And everybody that saw it would swear that's what they saw? You could do that. Look at some of the magicians that have used that in the past. And I'm not going to pick on anybody, but, when you're standing in front of an airplane and all of a sudden, poof, the airplane disappears. That was a holographic projection. How about an elephant? You have an elephant, you pull the curtain up, you drop the curtain, the elephant's gone. Well, in China, they actually did a holographic projection of a city next to a river, and everybody would have sworn it was a real city. Do you know our satellites now have cameras to project? So our governments, all of them, not just this one, but all of them, can do holographic projections and make you think that things that aren't are. They can make you think that. Well, our government has developed a technology some years ago that I can speak to you right now. They can pick up my voice, and within a few minutes they can have my voice telling you anything they want me to tell you. Well, another program was developed, and I've actually seen it. I'm not telling you hearsay stuff. I'm telling you stuff that I've seen in action. I've seen it in action, where they can take a video of me. They can take another person. They can use the voice system, and they can take that person, have that person do things and go through actions, and it looks just like me, and it sounds just like me. And you can't tell the difference. And they could have a holographic projection, walk up the street, and do things you would swear it was me. I mean, you saw me with your own eyes, and it wouldn't be me. So what are we going to do about that today? Because we know that we're getting into the last days. We're getting into the end. We need to protect ourselves. Well, I've come up with a whole load of papers on how to overcome brainwashing, and I've got the one on Are You Being Brainwashed, and I really want to get those to you, because if you have them, you'll begin to understand what I understand. If you go to google.com, you get certain information, right? But if you go to google.ca, Canada, or google.fr, or google.ru for Russia, you're going to get a whole lot of different information that you're not getting here, because governments keep things from their people, and we have things being kept from us. So if you really want to know, I'm going to give you all the ways to get all the information that you can get. So how do we protect ourselves from being brainwashed? Well, what do you know about millimeter frequency projection or microwave frequency projection? Do you know that our government has microwave technology now, where they have it on vehicles, so they can send a frequency out into a crowd, and they can subdue the crowd. They can change the mood of the whole crowd. They can change it from love to hate to love. They can do that. They have the power to do that. You have a smart meter on your house? You probably do. Well, 1968, my head was caved in during the race riots in Washington, D.C., or actually right before that. And God healed it, but I have an uncanny ability to pick up frequencies. And as soon as the smart meter was put on the house, I began to feel the frequencies at 3 o'clock in the morning. So, do they put off frequencies? Yeah, well, I'm going to tell you that they do. You probably won't find a lot of information on that. But, does our government want to control us? Yes, they do, because there's some things getting ready to happen. The poles are shifting. I already told you that the sun has moved. You can see it for yourself. I'm not telling you something that you can't either prove me right or prove me wrong. And if I'm wrong, please tell me. But I'm not, because I see it with myself, with my own eyes. And everybody on the planet sees it. Up in the north equator, south of equator, everybody sees it, that the sun is not in the same place it used to be. Well, the poles are shifting, and everything is changing. And there's a lot of things that are going to happen that I'm not going to even talk about right now, because all you've got to do is drop me a note, and I will send you all this information, because it's way too much to put on this little short video. So how do we protect ourselves? Well, I'm going to tell you. It's so simple that most of the people that hear me won't do it, because it's so simple. And it can't be that easy, but it is. First of all, you have to spend time in the book. What book am I talking about? The Bible. To spend time in the Bible until the Bible gets into you. You have to get into it before it gets into you. You got to do that. And the next thing you have to do, you have to spend time communicating with Father. Now, I'm not talking about you running your mouth and that's all there is to it. You have to shut up and listen. It's tough. You have to talk to Father and then shut up and listen and wait till he talks back to you. And he does. He talks to all of us. I hear people say, well, our pastor says God doesn't talk to people. I'm sorry, but your pastor is unknowledgeable. I'm going to be nice about it. I'm not going to say he's stupid. I'm just going to say he's ignorant because he doesn't know. Because all of us that have communication spend time with Father and he talks to us. We know that he does. I mean, I could tell you lots of stories of people that come to me and say, God doesn't talk to us. And then we get them to a place in him and they start talking to him. He talks to them. And what is that place? Well, when we give our life to Christ, as you know, Holy Spirit, Father and Son come into us, right? And that's wonderful. He lives in us. But now we need to get into him so he's out here and we're in here instead of him being in here and we're out here. We want him on the outside as well as on the inside. Well, John the Baptist, when he was immersing Yeshua, Jesus, before that he said, he who comes after me is more powerful than I am. He's mightier than I am. I'm not even worthy to unlash his sandals. And he will immerse you or baptize you in Holy Spirit and in fire. Well, who does that? Yeshua does that. Jesus does that. Man doesn't do that. But all you have to do is ask him. You say, Jesus, Yeshua, immerse me, baptize me in Holy Spirit. And when you ask him, he does. Now, he does unless you've got some blockages. And what are the main blockages? Are sin and spirits. So on the end of these papers, I'm going to give you all the information you need so that you can go to Yeshua, Jesus, and you can ask him to immerse you in Holy Spirit. And then you're going to get a prayer language. Now you say, I don't want that. Well, that's him speaking through you. And when he does that, sometimes he gives you the interpretation. And we call that revelation. Do you know one word from a throne room can change your life forever? Just one word. And where do you get it from? You get it from revelation. We don't learn in head knowledge about him. We learn communicating with him, and we learn about him, and we fall more in love with him. If you're not in love with him, I'm sad for you. The greatest love I've ever had in my life. He put his hands up on a tree, and they nailed him to the tree for me and for you. That's how much he loves us. And all he wants to do is give you everything that Father has for you. And that's a whole lot more than we can get here. I mean, it's just, to say it's a level above our ability to comprehend, it is. We have no idea how much he loves us and what he wants to do for us and with us. But he doesn't want us doing things for him. He wants us doing things with him. So I'm gonna ask you to do this for me. I'm going to ask you to drop me a note and say, just on the subject line, just put brainwash or brainwashing or brainwashed, whatever you want, brainwashed, and send me an email to Will, W-I-L-L, at imagroup.com. imagroup.com. Will at imagroup.com. Because I want to give you all this information. I want you to learn to start searching and finding things that you didn't think were available. There's a whole lot more available to you than you have any idea. And it's right in front of you. It's right in front of you. Get in the book and get the book into you. Spend time with him. Shut up and listen. And you're going to grow to places you've never been. So drop me a note. I'll send you all this stuff I've printed. Go out and look at the sun and see if I'm a liar or if I'm telling you the truth. Go look at it. Bless you. God bless you.